Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my...
Okay, well, I'm waiting for the cows to do their thing. We're gonna knock this thing out. I've been online very little for a month, and just took a break. Decided I'm gonna go back, start watching some videos, this kind of thing again. I go back on. I've had computer problems, internet problems, and so I'm still pretty much been offline. I can certain times of the day I can get on YouTube or something and actually leave a comment or get my email. Certain times of the day I can't. Anyhow, what I did is while I was offline, I made some videos. I made 4 or 5 videos, and I uploaded one of them yesterday. It took all morning and all afternoon, and that just drives me nuts. I don't have the patience for that. But I'm fogging up my glasses. Anyhow, I just ran in here. I made a couple of videos, not real important, but kind of get something off my chest. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to do them right now. Just summarize the 2 videos and see if this thing will load. I'll try to keep it really short. I had read something in a novel I was reading about 2-3 weeks ago. This guy talked about people that had compromised themselves as a people. They had an original idea, and they compromised their idea. They changed it, and it fell apart. And I'm not sure if compromise is the best word, but what I discussed in the video was a document like the Constitution or a document like the Bible, okay, were not meant to be compromised. We don't actually change the Bible. We haven't actually tried to really change the Constitution, but we reinterpret everything. Well, this is what it means. This is, we try to make these old documents fit today. It's a different time. People are different now. We know more and all this stuff, yada, yada, whatever. And they take these 2 documents, both the Constitution and the Bible, and they want to manipulate them to be more appealing today. They'll say, well, we're trying to fit the times. We want the documents to fit the times. Okay. Now, if you have a business or if you have there's a lot of times we do that. I mean, my family and our business, we've had to do that. When the market changes, we have to change with it. Okay, if some aspect changes in our environment, our working environment, sometimes we'll have to stop doing one thing and start doing another. Hey, you might sell the best filet in town, but people want hot dogs. Well, you better get with hot dogs. That's all the people want, kind of thing. So you'll have to adjust, compromise, call it whatever you want. We have to change the original to fit the current. Okay? That's not something you do with the Bible or the Constitution. We are malleable. Our business is malleable. We can adjust and make changes like that. Maybe you have a club or something like that where you have a mission statement or something. Sometimes you have to change those things, even if it's you might have a club that's good, does well in the community, wants to train more people, show people more education or whatever. And you have to, we're not reaching enough people this way. We have to change our original intent to get to more people. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that kind of a compromise. Like I said, I might not be using the right word. But when you come to documents like the Bible or the Constitution, they are not malleable. These are not things that you would take to fit the times. Okay, this is not something used to fit today. Those are designed to take people. People are to be changed to fit the documents. Okay. That's why that's the difference. Okay. You don't change the Bible to fit the people. You change the people to fit the Bible. Same thing with the Constitution. it's just like the Ten Commandments. You set yourself up against the Ten Commandments to get an end result. If you start taking out some of these commandments, you're going to get a different end result. Okay, so that was the video that I had put together. It was like 50 minutes long or something. The other video was about the book of Acts. Now, if you're a reader of the Bible, a Christian, you go to church or whatever your deal is, most people, when they first get into, when they're first exposed to the Bible, for whatever reason, maybe they had a question or someone just says, hey, I want to expose you to the Gospels. Most people are sent to either the book of John, or the Gospel of John, or the Gospel of Matthew. Nothing wrong with that. I had a friend, I asked him some Bible questions. He was big in the church, and I was going through some stuff at the time, some anger issues or whatever the deal was. He said, oh, you got to read the Gospel of John. Okay. So he gave me a Bible, and I read the Gospel of John. And that was okay. That was, knowing what I know now about the Bible, I think it would have been better had they said, listen, you need to read the book of Acts. And a lot of people say, well, whoa, you're skipping Jesus and you're going to what the apostles were doing. Yeah. One, if you read the book of Acts first, you're going to have loads. If you're trying to get someone to read the Bible, you want to expose them to the Bible, send them to the book of Acts. They're going to get all kinds of questions. Like, what are these people doing? They got the healing going on. They've got this spirit thing. They're being led. What is all this? And you get more of that in the book of Acts, I believe, than you do in the Gospels. Because in the disciples are still trying to figure out what's going on in the Gospels. They're not quite sure when they get to the book of Acts, it's trial by fire. They're in it. And most of us, especially Paul in the book of Acts, he has the Damascus moment. Paul is the last person going to do anything with these Hebrews, these Christians. He's persecuting them. He's on this road to Damascus. Jesus nails him, blinds him, sends him to some other town blind, and tells him what's going to happen, more or less. And, Paul was going one way. Jesus shows up. Now he's going another way. All right? Now, most of us, most people, will have a Damascus moment. You're going this way, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, God, all of a sudden, bang, you're at a crossroads now. You got to figure either what happened or you're supposed, what's going on. You're going to have your Damascus moment. If you read the book of Acts, you get to see how Paul handled his. You see what happened to Paul. That's the Damascus moment. And you see how this guy was going in an entirely different direction. Now, all of a sudden, he's completely dependent upon what he's getting from above. Okay, being led by the Spirit and such. And I think most of us would relate better to Paul than we would, let's say, John, Peter, Thomas, these guys in the Gospels. Those guys were walking with Jesus. We read about him. Okay? Paul was going by, he ran into Jesus, and then going by what he'd been told, and then what he had in the Gospels and everything else. He's using the Gospels just like we're trying to use the Gospels. So I think we relate better to Paul. Not knocking the Gospels, but if you start somebody out in the book of Acts first, at the minimum, they're going to get a lot of questions, but they're excellent questions. Then when they go back to read John or Matthew, this is the guy. This is the guy. I could see where this is. Okay, it's a little mysterious too if you read it that way, but I think it's a way better read. So that's what my other video was about. It was just if you're going to start somebody out, because I think we're more like Paul. We're in his shoes in a sense, and I think we get far more out of it if someone was to start you out in the book of Acts. You're trying to start someone out in the book of Acts, and then have them come back. And don't try to answer all the questions. Say, listen, tell them write your answers, write your questions down on a piece of paper when you go back and read the Gospels and see how many will be answered there. But anyhow, some things we don't compromise, we don't mess with. You don't take your document and change it to fit the people. If it's something like the Bible or the Constitution, you take the people and change them to fit the item. And if you're starting someone out in the Bible, you want to get somebody reading, something like that, or someone's showing some interest, start them out in the book of Acts. It is. I remember when I read John the first time, it was just a sleeper. Because your whole, everything about you is fighting this thing. You have all this, you don't want to get into this, no matter how curious you are. But the book of Acts, that's an eye-opener. That's what are these people doing? What is, what's driving them? Anyhow, I'm going to shut up. God bless you. Hopefully I'll get some more videos up. I got to figure out what's going on with this whole internet thing, because this could take all day to upload something. This drives me absolutely nuts. Anyhow, love you. God bless.